Is that going onto Facebook as well?
I don't know.
Let me have a look.
It's not working on Facebook. So look, we're having terrible connection problems in the bunker. If you're back on and watching the stream again, and I apologise to everyone out there if it's if the connection is this is beyond our control. This is internet stuff as opposed to anything else. But we'll keep talking and we'll record it here and we'll be able to put it out one way or the other. Jamie is as a video or something, right? And also, the one thing I did forget to say was Skill Zone. Skill Zone in Sandyford are now sponsored the show in the Monday Club. This is the big thing. And by the way, the World Games 2017 will be happening in the next couple of weeks when the first 4 competitors in the inaugural The World Games go and challenge each other in Skill Zone in Sandyford. Those 4 competitors here are Jamie Home, myself, Stephen Daly and Andy Young, and we're doing it live on Periscope.
Phil, what about the Para World Games?
The Para World Games, Neil, we're trying to start that one out for you, right? Yeah. You're up next for the Para World Games, the Paralympics.
Say I'll take all them easy.
Yeah, well, you're the only competitor so far, although there is talk of getting Trev back to take it on. Anyway, so the World Games is going on in September 17th. The World Games live from Skill Zone Sandyford. Yeah, Skill Zone Sandyford. There's an advertisement that will be at the end of this, and I'll also be at the start of the pod, and I'll also do a very professional thing with the advertisement at the start of the pod. Anyway, back to the thing. We're talking about the on the ground, the out-of-towners and the in-towners and the whole lot. Yeah. Uman, you're going to say...
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I've supported Liverpool for about 34 years, something like that, and I'm from London, born and bred. And when I was growing up in London, and I was at school, primary school, all the lads supported Liverpool. Now, that's how we got into it, because we had Dalglish, we had Rush. We didn't have chances to get to Liverpool back in those days, but as soon as I could go, as soon as I was sort of 15 or whatever, 12, 14, 15, and you could go to Liverpool, or you could, someone take you, whatever. We'd love to go. It was like, it was something that you really wanted to do. And we're always out of towners. Now, as I got older and I went to university in Manchester, whatever, I went to more and more games. And, there was, I don't think it had got that, even if you go back to the mid-90s, it wasn't anything like it is now. It was different.
Sense?
You go there, you go and watch the game, you go to the pub, you go to the game, you sing, you'd be sitting wherever you were sitting, wherever you get a seat, and there were no problems. Everyone was singing, there was no, the atmosphere, and the atmosphere, it's got worse, isn't it? Other than the Champions League games or the big games now, the atmosphere in Anfield is not what it likes. Now, I think it's partly due to what you're saying about the generation of people who own the season tickets is getting older and older. Now, I've sat all around the ground, whether it's probably not in the Kop so much, but if it's the lower centenary, upper centenary, in the paddock. And I've gone with my friends and we've sung our hearts out. You never walk alone before the game, during the game, and you'll see. I'm not saying this in a bad way, but there are people who are older generation. I think more sort of local individuals, and they're not singing. So I think it comes back to the balance again. I think the main thing is, and at the same time, I'm not someone who, if you're going to go and watch Liverpool play at Anfield and you're from Thailand or India or wherever. Take pictures, of course. It's an experience.
Some people like you said, Jamie. Like we take for granted that Liverpool's a 20-minute flight from here. Like there's buses around Dublin City that take longer. Do you know what I mean? Lads come from Indonesia and Malaysia.
Look at Pete over in Oz. He says he comes across maybe 8 times a year to come and watch the Reds.
And it's a day travel.
As well, if we go over, say you go 3 times a year, right? Yeah. There's a couple of grand you're going to spend.
It's not about money or cost. I'm just saying like how convenient it is for us to go there. No, it's like I said, we take for granted it's a 20-minute flight. Like you said, Pete from Oz, like it must take him. That's a day round trip. Like you know what I mean? The whole lot, like just to get there. You know what I mean? So
I think it's you can't turn your nose up, isn't it? With the way it's gone corporate.
But really, you look at like Celtic Park. Celtic Park is rocking every weekend. No matter who's there, they could be playing Kilmarnock in a league game, and there's thousands of Irish go to every Celtic game, and they're well integrated with the fans there. Now I understand the relationship between Celtic and Irish is different, but I thought Liverpool, like Scousers and Dubs, even to say, like they're like birds of a feather, you know.
I think that the bigger challenge is when like a lot of Liverpool fans have this attitude that if somebody tries something new, right, or tries to get a chant going, everything's wool. Oh no, we're better than that. We're not better than anything anymore because the stadium's dead. Anything that's going to inject a bit of atmosphere.
Have you been in the park recently before the game?
Yeah.
Do you not now? I'm putting my neck out here. I feel like it's very forced.
Probably.
Sing song and all. It feels like it's forced. Do you know that kind of way? And there's always 2 or 3 lads in the corner who are.
Do you think there's like where the Liverpool fans are
And I think
placed. And I think social media's got something to do with it as well, because it whips negativity, like everything's
Like
sort
you
of
said,
overanalyzed.
engagement as well.
Yeah.
Fans, it's not just Liverpool, it's like most top grounds around England.
It's the whole corporate ethos around the place. Like
Exactly.
At the end of the day,
And
the club itself sold
phones as well.
out.
Phones as well.
No, the club
but
sold out
these-
to a sports investment group who are there to
I-
for
I-
revenue.
I
Do you know
think
what I mean?
there's a valid point there to be made there by Perley33 there on the Twitter, and he said, look, 30,000 leave Ireland every weekend to go see football in England, right? There's 30,000 aren't turning up in Anfield. 30,000 are going to grounds across
Putting up
England,
the prices
right?
of Ryanair flights
They're
as
putting
well.
up the prices of it is. If you can figure, if you get the fixtures the day beforehand, which some of us do, right, before they're released to the press, you can get on and you can get your flights done for €5-6, right? And if you go on a day later, you're going to be paying 160 to 180 euro return for the flights to go over. As much as there should be no out of towner day tripper thing, that's bullshit. It's simplistic bullshit, right? The atmosphere in Anfield has been pants for years now. The only time it's been good has been when we were on a title run in, or we have the big matches, right? I said sarcastically that can't wait for the season.
Like you, that mate.
The season to start, so as we can have "You Never Walk Alone" for the first 5 minutes silence, and then the last couple of minutes we get the Stevie Gerrard song, and then "You'll Never Walk Alone." As you said, they sang "Poor Scouts" to Tommy, which is the first time I've heard that song in the stadium in years, right? Which is ridiculous. So to me anyway, the big issue I have with going down the simplistic route of out of towners versus locals is that it creates another divide in the fan base.
There's enough as
And
is.
this is the Liverpool fan base is ridiculous for divides. There's camp something against camp something. We're now down to the stage where you can't even be Camp Sacco or Camp Lovren. You're now in camp out of towners, camp in towners, and this is a long term problem. It's not. If you get a good atmosphere going, no matter where the support is from, it won't make a blind bit of difference. And I'll say it one more time, on the Cop, the club are missing a fucking beat, right? And I heard them talk about it on the Anfield Wrap as well. They're going to have to upset people who have season tickets in the Cop.
They're going to need to knock a few noses
if they
out,
really want to make an atmosphere in Anfield as legendary as it's meant to be, they're going to have to knock the noses out of joint and put the travelling Cop into the Cop to make the noise, and do what every goddamn big noisy team does in Europe and put their ultras in behind one of the goals.
But then it comes.
Let me tell you what, mate of mine just got a season ticket. Well, a mate of mine, a lad I know, got a season ticket this year, right? And he can't get over all the time, so he lets the club know the matches he can get to, and they resell his ticket, obviously to fucking out of towners. So the club are as much to blame for it as anyone else then.
It's not really to blame though. It's not a fault. Like, I don't think it's a fault selling tickets out.
I've been able to get tickets like that in the past, you know that, because there's been returns before Christmas or whatever people might go. I think that there's two things. Number one, don't you believe... No, we can do it for Champions League games, right? Yeah. We can do it like on Wednesday night. The atmosphere is going to be electric. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it will be. It's going to be because it means so much. Out of towners, locals, doesn't matter. Everyone's going to be singing their hearts out Wednesday night because it's such a big game. So we can do it when we need to do it, and everyone gets together for it then, right? The other thing is, don't you think a lot of the problem behind all the divides going on in the club is just how tense the club is, how tense we get into games, because it's been so long since we've had the success we've won.
That's
everything comes down to that, doesn't it?
I think a lot feeds into from social media, because all week now, what it used to be, you'd go to Boozer with your mate, you'd watch the game, you have a couple of pints, you dissect it for 2-3 hours, and then you go out on a session, forget all about it the next day. You wait till the next week, you start the chat then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever. Whereas now, people, sounds kind of strange just saying this being a podcast about Liverpool, but all week,
7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Yeah.
So there's this weird hysteria sort of whipped up of negativity, and Klavan always loses headers. So anytime Klavan loses a header, everyone goes, "Oh, fuck it!"
Exactly. Everything is microscoped. Like fans are sitting there waiting for things to go wrong. It's like we've all been in Anfield. Like being in Anfield, and it's 60 minutes gone, and it's 0-0.
Yeah,
like,
we're all tense. And
say Henderson plays a ball that's 5 yards short. And you could see Klopp last year losing his head.
Telling fans to shut up,
telling the fans to shut up, because it played one ball short and he'd be throwing them out. Come on, you know what I mean? Like,
you know what else though as well? You can't forget though, with all the out of towners, only for them Angels will be gone.
The what?
Angels will be gone.
Angels?
Yeah, the lap dancing club be closed.
I have no idea what that place is now.
You have to think of that. Still a fiver of dancing there, has been since 1982.
Beats inflation. Beats inflation. There we go. There's a tip for all you out-of-towners and in-towners if you want. Well, Angel's still beating the inflation at only €5 dance. Fair play. Neil said he'd see you there at the weekend.
£5 in with a free dance.
Lads, look, I want to move on because, as I said, it's not just we want to talk about it. And the big other breaking news story that we have in tonight is that Phil Coutinho's managed to find reverse gear on his motorbike.
180.
No, it's reverse gear on a motorbike. He's the first one to find it, and he's slapped the full in. He's also beat Kia Drabchin around the head and said, I was told to do this. I didn't know what was going on. Basically, the statement for Coutinho read, what the hell's been going on? I've been in bed the last couple of weeks with a sore back. I don't want to leave Liverpool. I never said that at all. And your man, that Guinean journalist, I've never told him anything at all whatsoever. Sega Mega Drive can piss off. I want to stay at Liverpool. Anyway, it seems that Coutinho wants to stay at the club now. Do we want to keep him?
Of course.
What?
Of course.
No, fuck him out, I say. Robbie?
I'd keep him for a year, but I don't see how there's any way back from him at this stage. Klopp set a precedent last year with the Sacco stuff that if you cross him, he'll fuck you out, and I don't see how I reckon he comes back into the team.
I think there's a difference between breaking the rules though and handing in a transfer request.
But you still went across.
It's not buying into what he. It's
Exactly.
this
Yeah,
one.
but come on,
You
lads,
like.
I said to Robbie off here.
Hang on, let's have time.
Go ahead. No, go
Sorry,
ahead.
yeah, you were saying?
Is that the first time you've ever stuck up for me?
I'm not sticking up for him, letting you talk. I'm
No,
going
go ahead.
I think it's this whole group mentality. No individual is above that. So if you've got, oh Neil, come on, I'm growing my hair back for that. Mate. Needs to borrow some of yours.
Yeah, they're missing a spot, mate.
Hey, there he is. If somebody doesn't buy into this whole group mentality, then they're just not involved.
Yeah.
If it was me, and it was earlier in the window, I'd have sold him because
Yeah,
I actually
yeah,
don't
yeah,
think he's
exactly.
our most
Exactly,
important
sure,
player.
yeah.
But with it being, the last couple of weeks of the window, I'd have kept him for that.
Shawnee.
for that
I
reason.
understand why he's the same with Klopp being stubborn, and look, fair enough, it's one thing for another, and then if he does that, then like he has to be looking at Sacco. But
Do you think that they're any way
I know
linked,
Rodgers
though,
was the
those-
same, but I think actually it'll be on FSG or the people who over Klopp to turn around and say, look, we're going to put a positive spin on this and you make it work. Because I remember I was at Anfield for Liverpool Palace, and it was Suarez's first game back after the ban and after he had all that shit with wanting to leave, and he thought he was going to get a bad reception walking out onto the pitch. And what did he do? Suarez walked out with the baby in the hand.
Did he?
Onto the pitch.
Wasn't even his
So they will spin it. They will spin it some way.
Maybe
Now,
that.
The spinning stuff doesn't really matter though, because he's already set a precedent. So if someone else wants to leave next year and they have to backtrack,
Yeah, but
he loses all respect with the players if he does that. That might happen with Rodgers, but he made it bigger than everything else.
After the
what
statement,
if Coutinho starts against
FSG
Arsenal
made,
Sunday?
they're the media, and me and Umami Yang were talking about it outside. after the statement, after the statement they made, they're like a media company, and Henry's media presence is so large he can't backtrack, and his ego is that big. It's impossible for them to sell Coutinho now at this stage after saying they can't. So it was never going to happen.
But we're football fans.
I think there's a big distinction between that and the Sacco thing. Sacco was disciplinary, and
that's what
Coutinho
I'm
didn't
saying.
break any rules.
No,
He's a
that's
professional, and he's
what I mean,
entitled
yeah.
to say.
And if Coutinho plays on Sunday against Arsenal and rockets one in the top eight,
All is
do
forgiven.
you know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
all going to
All
be
is
fawning
forgiven,
again.
yeah.
I think
And that's
that
just how football works.
The
lads.
simple
That's just-
reality of this is that we need him, right? We need a fit and firing Coutinho this season to take us to the next level. Obviously, we wanted to buy more players, etc., whatever, but we can't. We need, that
He was
front
integral
four,
to it, wasn't
integral. Coutinho in the midfield, and then the three forwards that we've got now.
Yeah.
We need those four
Yeah,
players.
I think
firing
we
on all
do
levels,
look a
and
little bit
And I think
blunt in the middle.
the
But
gulf in quality between Sacco and Coutinho, that like these things do come into play in football.
But there's also the precedent. There's not the precedent. It's the fact that you can't. If Klopp can't say one thing for one player and another, regardless of how good they
Yeah,
are.
but the other side of it is we don't really know what's going on with Sacco.
I think there's a
We don't
distinction
really know
between
it.
the two.
We-
Though
none
Sacco
of-
was disciplinary.
I mean,
Liverpool, there was the
if
derby
Coutinho comes
thing.
in and knuckles down, like Sacco didn't help himself. Like I think if Sacco didn't carry on
it was
that
the
shite at the
Snapchats.
bench at Anfield
It was
this
the
year, last
Snapchat
year,
shit. I'm nearly convinced of it. He was unprofessional
Yeah, I
in
remember
what he
that. It was a
did
bit of a
And then
with
being
the
an
drug
Arsenal in
test.
America that time as well.
Yeah, and then he started slagging the club on Snapchat, and then he was told go and get game time, and he
then-
said no. And it's like, mate,
Coutinho
like,
didn't break
Jake-
any rules. He done every. He's entitled to.
the only issue I have with Coutinho that he's
He didn't.
basically Nothing like a father's love.
Listen,
Get him
need
out.
him.
It's a commercial enterprise.
Listen. At the end of the day, the most cogent point that's been made so far, he walks back in and scores 2 goals in his return, right? And we beat Arsenal 2-0, right? Nobody cares. The reason why Suarez could do whatever he wanted was
was
when he walked back in,
unbelievable.
he scored a hat trick, and we bet somebody, right?
Whether
And
we
bet
don't care or not, the manager cares, and the manager's the boss. So whether that's what I mean by him. It's not us talking about without him.
No,
That's why that's
Klopp
the way
was
I like
stubborn, but I don't think he's
I see
stupid.
your point,
Yeah.
Robbie.
But that's where I was with the fans all along of this, is that no matter what goes on, no matter outrage that goes out there between whether it's Facebook or Twitter or wherever it is, or outside the ground or in the pubs or whatever, right? As soon as the player starts performing again for the team that you support, all of that stuff just fades into insignificance, right? But it's it's as you said, the most important thing here is how the manager treats him and what the manager sees in him. And if Jurgen Klopp has lost confidence in him, it doesn't matter what we think of him as a player. It doesn't matter how he plays. He will not play under Jurgen Klopp,
No, I
because
don't
he
think
will
so either.
ostracise and he will segregate that player.
I'd say a couple of months before he comes back for that. I don't see how he plays until October.
He has
November.
to be the main personality at the club.
Exactly.
Klopp has to be, and he can't be undermined at all. So
And you've got to think, there were stories coming out, like they started to leak stuff that there'd been a problem between the two.
that's
Like,
exactly-
that's the type
I
of
don't
stuff
think
that
that
Klopp would
This
be
is
like,
Barca,
hold on.
though.
There were
I
even rumours.
I think Klopp
Whenever-
understands how Barca works, and
That's your
Coutinho's
man.
represent.
That's
yeah.
direction rather than Barca.
Yeah.
Do you know,
He done the
like,
same with
the end
him.
of
built
the-
Disney's
Yeah.
absolute dog shit.
Agents as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
agents as
He
well.
got a new agent
Like,
last year, didn't he?
All of a sudden,
his direction, yeah.
Coutinho wanted it to be amicable.
Don't forget,
Right.
Gerrard wanted to leave.
Do you know how exactly? Do you know
We all
how?
forgive
This
him.
is only
Twice.
my opinion on how I think it got so bad. And I think the reason I think this is because Gerrard even said it, and I'd imagine Gerrard had words with Coutinho. Gerrard come out on BT and says, "I don't think Coutinho is a bad lad. He was given an ultimatum by Barcelona that it's now or never, and he panicked."
Yeah.
And we don't know what came. We don't know what came first, the statement or the transfer request. Did the FSG transfer statement push Coutinho to hand in a transfer request,
Yeah.
or was a transfer request come and then FSG says, "Look,
Get that out,
bang, bang
And
this
if
out."
we're all brutally honest,
We
we,
don't know.
kind of knew that he was always going to go
Exactly.
to Barcelona.
Oh,
yeah,
And,
we've been saying
and
for
if it
years.
was
Yeah.
next
Saying it here for
year,
years, Jay, haven't we?
if it was next year, you'd go, fair play, good luck to you. You kind of feel like he owes us that one more year. And then I think everybody would go, look,
You
good
see,
luck to you.
morally he does, but in reality he owes us nothing.
Well, that's modern day
it's only
football.
professional.
for you.
Well,
Ever heard-
Exactly.
No, that's not true. But like,
loves per game, but
but
prefer
in a long way, I do agree with you that no footballer will see in their own mind that they own a club, that they owe a club anything. That's just the way it is with
It's a
football
food
these
chain.
days.
If you look at, we want Van Dijk, he's kicking first come to us.
Exactly,
Barcelona
yeah.
are higher in the food chain. That's why Coutinho wants to go there. It's just the
Now,
way it
Yeah.
is.
I just want to ask, right, because and we'll deal with it more in the main pod itself, right? But just given Coutinho is now staying, right? Big Jimmy Pearce, the
Friend
boss
of the show,
the
Jimmy
boss
Pearce.
of the Trippers, the boss of the Trippers, says that it's Van Dijk or no one and a centre midfielder.
and the centre midfielder.
He wants
Yeah.
to centre
Klopp's still keen on a sense
On a centre
midfielder. So.
midfielder.
Your man Capulet off Watford is deadly.
Anyway,
That was
right.
mine again. is it?
yeah, and we can get Gary Medal as well.
Millie Vanilli.
You know your man plays Manu Yamin. He's really good.
Lads, I have to ask, right? I was talking to Umang in the car on the way up here, and it's a genuine concern. Does anyone think we're capable of getting 2 deals done within the next
10 days.
10 days?
Yes,
Yes, I think we are as well.
eternal
Do
optimist.
you know what?
Yes,
It's mad
100%.
how when football clubs are pushed and money is involved, you'll be surprised how quick things move along. They're saying that Southampton have they're getting that lad from Lazio now.
I'm nearly convinced that the Van Dijk deal has been done the whole time. You know,
Do you know what?
Somewhere-
Is it?
Well,
come here, remember the last time we rushed through two deals? Remember the last time we rushed through 2 deals?
I put my hand up and say I am completely guilty here, right? It's on Instagram.
How would you
Now listen to this, right? The whole summer, right? Now listen.
Can you turn his mic off?
Now we're talking about
I bought into this, lads. I'm not going to lie to you.
Sean,
Will you let me, just let me make my point.
Sean,
The cunt
there
has
is
been
no
in London
point.
the last 4 days, so
Sean,
I'm saying,
Sean,
what's it? Get him out of it.
Sean, there is no point.
Yeah.
I'm following Van Dijk's mates on Instagram in case one of them pops up. Sorry, here at Melwood. if I was Van Dijk's mates now, right, I'd be saying, here, Virgil, here, give us a load of cash, will you? Well, just give us like a couple of grand. I'm going to drive around a load of the training grounds.
Wanna
just for
get them
laughs.
followers in?
Van Dijk you're following. It's your man out Charles and Eddie.
I'll do that.
No, but look, This is what it's a crown mistress, isn't it? Fucking football.
It is. So you feel that we can get 2 deals done? You believe we can get 2 deals done?
100%.
Robbie?
I think we will, yes.
Okay, Neil?
The last time we got 2 deals done, the 100, we got Licky Rambert and Mario.
Oh, no, yeah.
Licky Rambert.
Yeah.
So can we get 2 deals done? Absolutely. Will they be the right ones? Absolutely not.
Right. Jamie?
I think Van Dijk is 100% coming to Liverpool.
Go on, go with your big shout, Jamie.
Yeah.
Keep giving us in the WhatsApp.
100%.
Who else is coming?
Who
do we still get?
I've said it all along that I think Van Dijk is always going to come to Liverpool.
And who
What
else?
about Naby Keita?
Yeah, I'll be honest.
You say it on here.
Right, do I have to? Yeah, I think we get both of them, yeah. Last couple of days of the window, I think
And we
it's done.
keep Phil.
Look, I think
Look, brilliant if it happens.
It's raining outside.
Jurgen Klopp was very, very specific about who he wanted. I think too much has happened for Van Dijk not to come to Liverpool at this stage. He's already told Chelsea he wants Liverpool, not them.
Do you know
If
who
he
I
was
think
going to
could be?
Chelsea, that was done.
Do you know who I think it could be?
If what?
If he was going to Chelsea, that was done within 2 days.
The transfer request.
Chelsea aren't going to take him. If he said I want to play for
There's a
Liverpool,
chance
Chelsea
to
won't
get
have him.
Ziyech.
Now,
From
make it up
Ajax.
now.
Because do you know what I reckon? This is not ITK in the know. I reckon your man Ziyech has some sort of clause in his contract with a Champions League club, and if
in
we
the
qualify
Avengers,
on
isn't he?
Wednesday, we might be able to get him. That's just
Who is he?
place for Ajax.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Here comes Ziyech. He's an attacking style central midfielder who fits Klopp's profile perfectly. Right, but he's about 25, 26.
Doesn't know how to defend.
Like a Lallana, little Osprey type player, but probably has a slightly better passing range than Lallana has in terms of being able to distribute the ball as well. And he takes free kicks.
I've got a stat for you.
Yep.
Stat on the trip is James Milner had the best pass completion rate in European football over the weekend.
That was only in training.
That's
Just putting it out
That's
there,
unreal
lads.
for the bloke.
Jamie, that's absolutely fantastic. Thanks for that. I'll just foil it under I don't give a bollocks. Right. Anyway,
Well done, Jake.
And you'll get a reaction there.
Well
done.
Stats on the trip is...
yeah. Honestly, thanks for those stats. That was brilliant. And
No
if,
worries.
if you enjoy stats like that, fuck
off
off somewhere
somewhere
else. Because you won't be getting any more. You'll never come in here again if you ever bring shit like that into this podcast. Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Future Haskell, lad,
Don't ever bring out statistics in this
I got
podcast.
the
You know
reaction
that
I was
they are
after there, didn't
banned.
I? That worked out
Absolutely banned. Right, I need to do this little message here first for people watching, right? And then in the meantime, I'm going to do the intro to the
Here's a message
podcast.
from our sponsors, Phil.
This is a message from the sponsors, right? So this is actually very, very interesting.
Gaelic tennis, climbing, basketball, shooting, golf, baseball, and hanging tough. Test your sports skills at Skillzone, Ireland's first multi-sports indoor circuit. Be the first to get 100 points and you'll also win €10,000. Skillzone Sandyford. See skillzone.ie. T's and C's apply. So, Kevin, what would you say your main skills are?
About in terms of what the game that went on. And I suppose
full-backs, Phil, would
we could. I suppose the one thing I wanted to ask about is, as we look back at the Crystal Palace game, given how poor our recent record has been against them, right, and the fact that we managed to turn them over quite well. A lot was made of the squad. A lot was made of the team that started that match, right, and it raised a few eyebrows. But the realistic situation, lads, is where you are in the Champions League. The fans have to get used to squad rotation. But does it not show up as well the lack of depth that's in that squad, Shawnee?
Yeah, 100%.
Hang on.
Yeah.
I'm asking Shawnee.
Yeah, I do think so. Yeah, like when I wasn't expecting that many changes, and when I seen that, like I was saying, Jesus, like Palace are normally a ropey team at home, and to go with nearly almost a complete new back four, I thought was a bit mad considering we've only played 2 games. But like a whole lot could be riding on Wednesday that we don't know about. As to how important qualifying for the Champions League group stages is to what we want to do going forward.
Yeah.
I think looking on Saturday, I think people only have to look back at what happened under Benitez for them 6 years when we were in qualifiers. He was always... We'd have the qualifier on the Wednesday at the start of the season. He'd throw his full hand in the qualifier and then he'd throw a skeleton outside on the weekend home to get a win. And I think that's what we're going to have to start getting used to. I think because we haven't been in so long, people are actually forgetting
What it was.
what it's actually like.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be like that. Because look, I think even if we, God forbid we get beaten, we're going to have European games anyway. And I think we have a couple of home games. I think after the first European game, Burnley are at home. So like it's going to be like that in a couple of these games where he throws the skeletons going out and it's going to be nervy. It's going to be 1-0, 2-1. And he's going to have to ride with it. Like, I think even regardless whether the squad is strong or not, they travel to Germany, they're going to be travelling.
Yeah.
Even if they go every team has wobbles after European games. It's gotta
Come
go
on.
with it.
Yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised to begin with that he actually did make 5 changes. Because if you remember from him last season, you know, he just played the same team over and over again. And I thought the first 5 games of the season, he did the same thing.
Yeah.
He would just play the same players, the same 11 players, or 12 or 13 or whatever. So I was pleased about the team selection, worried to begin with when I saw it. I thought the forward line was fine enough. But at the back, obviously, what he did. But again, I'm pleasantly surprised. You know, I actually thought that we actually progressed out of it, because I think we came out with, maybe we'll talk about the defence a bit more in a minute, but Robertson looked good. Gomez looked all right. You know, I think he's still a centre-back, not a right-back. And we looked, even though Klavan's he's definitely a 4th choice, 5th choice centre-back, I still felt that we looked actually reasonably comfortable, although Palace didn't have much to them. So turned out actually that it was all around the right move decision to do that.
You know,
Yeah, well, I suppose the benefit of hindsight, isn't it? Kind of logic dictates that you're going to have to make changes. I was surprised with the 2 fullback changes, particularly. I mean, what did he say? With their last 3 Premiership games, we played 6 different fullbacks, I think. Someone was saying to me. I don't know how true that is. Is that true?
Sure it is, yeah.
So, yeah, well, listen, it worked, but I think it was like Robbie was saying, it was a bit of a punt, but the logic dictated that we had to do it. You know what I mean? So,
Turn your phone off. Fine.
So anyway, yeah, you missed all that. Listen, we got the win. We stumbled through. It wasn't, regardless of the popular misconception that we played really well. We didn't play really well. We stumbled through. We got the win, and that's kind of really all that matters.
I think we dominated more than we did.
Yeah,
I don't think we did stumble through. Like,
Do you know
I
what?
think, I think now, this isn't just me being like hopelessly optimistic and and positive, but we've played a game against Hoffenheim, which was a tough game away in Germany. Got the result. We looked leggy in that game. There's a couple of players that looked leggy, so we made changes. On paper, you're looking at the back 5, going, okay, that doesn't look great. I'll be honest, it didn't look great. But then, as we sort of went into the first half, we didn't start like a rocket. You know, I think we've been spoilt over the years, thinking that this high-tempo, first-minute action is going to blow teams away. It was very controlled.
Very safe.
Very safe. And like, you lads were panicking in the WhatsApp group, going, oh, fuck, it's not good enough. I was like, lads, there's a lot of football here. Like, we just found our way into the game. We were very controlled. They had one chance through Benteke, which, you know, we knocked off a little bit. But we actually created a lot of chances over the 90 minutes. We had to wait till the 70-odd minute to get a goal. But overall, it was a very composed and controlled performance from a team.
I agree. No, the last 20 minutes, like, it looked more likely to be 2 or 3 than 1-0.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
We dealt with their aerial threat.
I'm not sure how I feel about being in the 90th minute and me 4 players and Matip camping on the edge of the opposition box.
I fundamentally disagree with that. Right? I thought our midfield was pants.
Midfield was
I thought the midfield was appalling. And if you
Control
can't
the game, though.
In what sense?
They didn't control the game.
Of course we controlled the game.
We actually controlled the game this time down the flanks. We didn't control anything through midfield because
you only had to look at the game. Everything went through Robertson.
Henderson was abysmal. Literally, Henderson has gotten Lucas's boots. He can't run anymore. It looks sad to see a player who literally can't seem to run anymore. Right?
Yeah, 2 games after his long injury.
He's played about 5 games.
Jamie, listen, I'm hearing this. I'm looking at a fella.
He's got to be at it straight away after a fucking 6 months out.
But Jamie, hang on a second. You've had your spoke saying that everything was positive, everything, and I'm telling you now, I see problems in that midfield. And these are fellas that you would have said 2 weeks ago. Henderson is nailed on to start. Wijnaldum's nailed on to start.
The only thing I will say,
Wijnaldum didn't even turn up at the weekend. He decided he'd have a day off.
The thing about Wijnaldum, I think he's a really strange player, because I think that he's a really clever player. And I think the thing about him is, I think he's got the ability to do so much more than he does.
He's either brilliant or
he's not brave enough. He's not brave enough for me. I think that's the problem. Technically,
he's either really good or just poor.
It's the one-touch move, you know, but he doesn't get into the box enough. He doesn't do enough of anything enough, right? And I think he's got so much more than he can do. You know, but I don't know if Klopp also tells him to do a lot of sort of runs where he's, you know, so even though like he had less touches of the ball in Hoffenheim,
well, Milner carried his water.
I actually don't think that we were that bad. I just think we were very safe, and I think that's what happened in the first half, is that we just picked sideways passes. It was recycled.
But we didn't look in any trouble.
No, and that's what I meant about it being kind of control. We were quite controlled in our play, and I think as the game went on, we come out second half, we had a little bit more impetus. We were sort of pressing them more. We sort of went at them a little bit more, but it all was very safe. But I kind of felt with
even
Milner,
like people were banging on about Mane after the game. Didn't think he had his best game.
I didn't. I'm just.
But that's a sign of a good player.
For me, when I look at my midfield and I look at players, right, and I look at the squad options, I want players of equal ability to come in. And at the moment, right, I'm looking at Chan is 100% nailed on starting midfielder for us, right? People can disagree, can debate it, but all they want. He's 100% nailed on starting. And
Whilst Lallana's injured, he is.
No, what he is ahead of Henderson in that team.
Yeah, but I wouldn't play Henderson and Chan. There's no point playing.
He is ahead of Henderson in that team, and has been since Jurgen Klopp took over as manager.
Nonsense.
He has never been dropped.
Last season he wasn't.
He has never been dropped by Jurgen Klopp.
No, at the start of the season, it was only because he came back again. He had a summer where he was playing.
I do agree with you there. You only had to look at the Hoffenheim game when Milner came off, I think, or when Henderson came off, and I think we put Milner in the middle. The game changed.
We look better.
The game changed.
It's managing Henderson's fitness though.
But the thing, the one saving grace I think Henderson has at the moment is if you look at that Burnley away game last season, the uproar. And he was absolutely poisoned.
Henderson's one of the most important players to our team when fit.
He's just got to take it. Chan is too slow on the ball to be a starting midfielder.
I think Chan is a far better number 6. I think when he's a defensive midfielder, we just look a lot more.
The thing is, Henderson's based a lot of his game about around these rangy passes, and if he's not on that, he gives you nothing.
I've got a theory on that. I think I heard it there. I listened to a podcast there the other day, and it was a great point. I think it might have been Sean Rogers on the Anfield Wrap, and he turned around and said, basically, friends of the show, the Anfield Wrap. What he said, now that we've got 2 outlet balls in Mane and Salah with pace, what our midfielders are doing is they're rushing the game. Whereas we used to do such a patient build-up, little touches, and then break. We're automatically looking for that outball because we know that those 2 pacey wingers can make something of it. So we're forcing it. So Henderson, for example, is always looking for that big ping. When, to be honest, we could actually do with just keep.
He's not a great passer either.
I think at three.
Henderson, I don't think that's the best part of his game.
I think at 3.
I think his best part of his game was his energy, and because he can't run anymore, we're noticing that he was
always really
snappy, but also he's everywhere, right?
I just think he's so easily bypassed by opposition.
I actually think our 3 midfielders all suffer from the same thing. Wijnaldum, Chan and Henderson. Neither of them are a constant presence in 90 minutes of a game. They all have little spells where they go in and out games.
I agree, but at the moment, the fella who is Klopp's nailed on starter midfield is Emre Can.
Yeah. You can keep saying that.
I agree. Emre Can's is
not
his boy.
You listen to the quotes that Klopp came out with. Even the other day, he was like, it was so good to be able to take Henderson off. So good to actually be able to do it. But
he was now.
But this is the thing. This is the thing with Liverpool fans. There's no reason, or there's you look at something and it's he's shite, he's finished now. No, he's not. He's had a long layoff, and it's gonna take him a bit of time to get his momentum back. If it was Chan last year, everyone was like, but you've got to give him chance there. He's got an injury. It takes him a few games to get back. Now it's Henderson, and it's popular to slag him off.
Chan played through an injury though for half a season last year.
Henderson's been doing it his whole Liverpool career, to be honest.
His ankle's fucked.
But that's
part of our point.
In having a player
so all right, I'll use another example of how.
You just said he's fucked.
Yeah, no, but they're playing.
You just said he's fucked.
He's not fucked. His ankle.
Okay,
let's What's the point in having a player who is not fully fit?
Well, let's look at another example of how both players are treated differently, right? So Jordan Henderson comes out about Philip Coutinho and turns around and goes, I can't influence his decision. I can't get him to change his mind. Emre Can comes out and says, if he decides to go to Barcelona, I'll be delighted for him. No one says a fucking thing about that.
Yeah, but Henderson's a captain. Henderson's a captain. And the one thing about
Emre Can supposedly the captain in waiting.
No, think about
so what's the difference?
One other thing that I think about Henderson, just sort of similar but different point. When we saw him in Champions League and he did the interview after Klopp, he didn't look like a captain, and he was asked those questions. He looked nervous. He looked rowdy. He should be coming out and saying, "I'm proud. I'm the Liverpool captain." And show a lot more passion. When he did before the game, before the Champions League, I just looked at him and go, "You're a rabbit in headlights here. You're the captain of Liverpool Football Club." I know.
But Jamie, you're a huge fan of Henderson.
I'm a huge fan of
So you've got your bias.
No, but what I'm going to say
you don't have bias. You just said you're a huge fan of Henderson.
I'm a huge fan of Henderson, but I'll also be able to say I think he's been getting bypassed in these games too easily. But that's down to the fact that he's trying to get momentum in probably the most unforgiving of setups possible. Yet we all as fans, again, it's this over-analysis of particular players. He has to be at full throttle. No, he doesn't. It's going to take him 5 to 10 games. Be patient. You've seen what he can do. He dictates games from the middle, whether it's short, long passes.
I don't think he dictates any game.
I've
said to you all along, and I'll stand by it, I think he's a great lieutenant.
You're talking
he's
about,
not a general.
I think there's an element of truth in that. I will give you that. I think there is an element of truth in that, but in this current Liverpool setup, when he's at full throttle, there's no one that even laces his boots, in my opinion.
You're talking about Chan being starting ahead of him. If you look at the first half of last season when Henderson played, we played the best football in the league by a mile. And he was
at the fulcrum of everything.
that. And he was pinging balls to Mane and everything.
He had his energy. He had the greatest skill that he's got, which is energy.
With a nothing injury for 6 months.
Listen, if any of them were that good, we wouldn't be trying to go on at
Correct.
150 million for Keita. You know
Correct.
what I mean? So they're obviously not up to the standard that's required.
They're not at
Every
the
player
elite
can
level.
be improved, Neil. I don't think it's a case of that, but I don't understand. I get everybody has favourites. I do lean towards Henderson over Chan, but I still really like Chan. But I just
incredibly dismissive what you just said there.
what did I say?
Well, everybody can be improved now.
Who was the best midfielder on the pitch on Saturday? Was Milner.
Sorry, bro.
Sorry?
Milner was our best performer midfielder on Saturday.
Statistically, the best in Europe, surely.
Don't give a bollocks about
These
it.
headphones around at the moment. I'm going to choke you out with the headphones.
It's my last pod for a while, so I'm going out in a blaze of glory.
I see Phil's point with Henderson. We've all seen Henderson have great games for Liverpool. The only thing is,
He doesn't look
the only
anywhere
thing
near
that
it at the moment,
sticks
to
with
be
me
fair.
with Chan is ever present and he's reliable.
I don't think
I know when he
I don't
struggled
think
with his
he's
injury, he
reliable.
didn't look so good. But once he
He's
got his
always
fitness
in the
back,
squad.
yeah.
He's always, and when he's fit,
I want to move on because we could be like this.
For the Liverpool football team, he moves the ball too slow. For the way that we need to
Takes
play, he
3
moves the
touches when he needs
ball
one.
too slow.
it's the midfield was shit, like basically anyway, right? But and it was. There's no ways around it. The midfield was shit, right? Where are you off to? Jesus,
He always gives us 30 minutes, then gets off. So
right, the next one. The next thing I want to talk about was the real positives in the game. Robertson. Right, I know people are saying we're giving out about Mane, but he was at the absolute centre of everything good that happened on the pitch.
everything that
Right?
happened went through.
Robertson.
it's a proper football.
I was scared.
Real football.
No, hang on a second. I'm gonna roll back, and I'm gonna ask you on this because I asked the lads, and the lads were all backing me up on this one as well. Right? People going over the top on Robertson now need to take out the debut of Alberto Moreno against Tottenham Hotspur, and then go back into Twitter and look at every single comment that came afterwards. Because if you take away Moreno's name and insert Robertson, it's identical, right? But I think it should be celebrated how good a performance Robertson did put in, because it looked mature, it looked disciplined, and do you know what? It looked like a measured left full's performance. And I know against Crystal Palace or whatever it is, but still you have to turn up on the day.
He played well. I also thought it was kind of interesting how I think Klopp likes that. He had it at Dortmund with Schmelzer as well, where he likes that left back who goes on the outside. And I think with Milner last season, he was getting
so
forward, but
kept coming
he
inside.
kept
Yeah,
cutting inside.
exactly.
And so I thought that was fairly positive in that. But it'd be holding fire until I actually seen.
It's
the
mad.
fans.
I wasn't expecting to see Robertson till probably be the first Carling Cup game. Gone by Klopp saying, "Oh well, it's going to take time and that," and then when he just dropped him in like that, but it was a very, very good, solid performance from him.
It's the variety in his game that impressed me.
The consistency as well as the delivery.
Oh, it's unreal, and it's in that. What's the phrase that I love?
The corridor.
There you go.
The thing is, it doesn't look like our attackers are wide tweet
They're
yet.
not
No,
there
they
yet.
weren't. They were shocked by the
Once they
process coming
do,
in.
and do you know
But
who
Bobby's
I think?
not a traditional number 9.
Do you know who I-
Solanke was
do you know
on.
who I think will be great getting on the end of Robertson's and Salah?
Yeah.
You look at
round
Salah
the
sniffing around at the back stick.
Yeah, he's a goal scorer. He's got that
That's what he
instinct,
is,
doesn't he?
yeah.
And he's a good header of the ball.
That's the biggest win, I think, of having somebody now that will go outside down the outside, is if you're Mane who's playing on the left, he can stand somebody up and wait for that run beyond him, and automatically the fullback either has to go or somebody has to go with him, which creates more space for
And
Mane.
I never found myself on Saturday watching that game going, and I'm sure we've all done it when Moreno's playing as good as he can be going forward. You're saying, what the fuck is Moreno at there?
Yeah.
Robertson was always in position.
You trusted him, and the weird thing is, it looked like the lads trusted him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They just kept the ball. I think he had more touches than any other player in the team from left back. It was kind.
Statistically, he had more touches for a left back called Andrew Robertson than anybody else.
So Tom Robertson.
Robinson, yeah.
He
What
was
did you
really
think?
well. He done really well, yeah. But I wasn't surprised, because anytime I've seen him playing, that's the way he plays. He's really impressive. It's amazing.
That one time in pre-season. Watch any
I-
fucking whole matches.
I only watched the second halves.
I don't like to brag, but I was a big fan of him and Harry Maguire.
You did
know
say
this,
that,
lads.
yeah.
Him and
I
Harry
thought he
Maguire.
was really
Harry
impressive.
Maguire is
He's a
basically...
foot, mate. He's going to be the next England
Well,
centre
listen,
back.
at the same time,
Yeah,
let's
that's
not get
hardly
ahead
our
of-
indictment of a centre
Let's
back.
not get
All
ahead
right,
of
all right. Harry Maguire is better than
Harry Mazzali, he'd be better off in that than he would as a centre back.
Harry Maguire would be very good for Liverpool Football Club if he had pace alongside.
No, that's what he's saying.
If Fabio Cannavaro was called Dejan Lovren, he'd be the best centre back in the world.
If you have pace alongside,
if me auntie had balls, she'd be me uncle.
Hey, there we
Can
go.
we not get ahead of ourselves either? Like, he done really well. He was probably an 8 out of 10. He's not Marcello overnight, you know.
Listen to me. To get a 7 out of 10 centre left full on a consistent basis would be brilliant, right? And I think one thing, Robbie, we were talking about this beforehand. I think people need to start also remember Nathaniel Clyne is a 7 out of 10 right fullback, and people are losing their crap over Alexander. It's great seeing Trent Alexander come through, right? Absolutely brilliant seeing him coming through. But Nathaniel Clyne is a top level right full
defensively,
yeah,
and also in terms of consistency. The fella has been there, he's done it. And if you think that because Alexander Arnold scored a great free kick in Hoffenheim that Clyne is going to be dumped on the sideline, you're mad.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Clyne wouldn't have been cut out for their goal.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the key now is we have options, and I think that the thing that excites me the most is we became so predictable against those teams that like to sit deep, because they knew if they gave it to our fullbacks, they did absolutely nothing with it going
Was
forward.
that only a symptom with that when Manny got injured though? Because it wasn't really a problem before he was out of the team.
No, but I think for the first 4 months of last
I
season,
think
it was all right.
When Manny got injured, he
I
was
think
at the
if you
combinations.
take that pace out of our side, if you take that pace out of our side, we're going to struggle. But even with him in the side buzzing around, to have that fullback that, as we said, that can go on the outside, just hug the touchline and have the threat that they can deliver quality. It creates space in the middle. Because we didn't have that, it was just so congested, and teams could camp there all day.
And to be honest, Palace tried to do that as well. Palace gave us the space on the wings, and that's why Robertson got so much space.
There was a couple of times, and that was the thing I loved about Robinson. I said before, is variety. Like, he was so clever with his little interchanging passes, his little triangles, and he wouldn't stop. He wouldn't pass it and admire it and go, "Oh yeah, that was a great ball."
He's very comfortable.
He goes to running round the back, and then he just gets slid in again, and that's proper game intelligence. That it was really good.
He's very comfortable on the ball. He's a good footballer.
Yeah, he's got a proper footballer's brain.
Yeah.
So I think as a young lad coming into that environment,
early signs are very good.
Yeah, really good.
Okay, look, the other thing I wanted, we briefly touched on Mane, right? Solanke, brilliant introduction.
Come on, yeah.
Like he really seems to have something about him.
He came on ahead of him against Hoffenheim, and I remember saying to me, Dad, watching that, it kind of looks a bit that if he's bringing them on in games like that to see it out, because he brought Origi on against Watford.
He trusts them all.
He fucking shit the bed big time where before the goal he made a mistake, and if he's bringing him on in them 2 games, I reckon it could be.
He really looks the part, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he's a prick.
It's
Would you?
Selfish in front of goal.
No, I'd say he's a prick as in
a person.
dirty bastard. You know what I mean?
Funny
He's a
facing or
hard,
something.
like Diego Costa prick.
Oh, really?
It's the way he carries himself around the pitch.
Just has that, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's the.
He has that fearsome. He has an aura about him.
Yeah, he's a big unit.
That was one of the issues supposedly at Chelsea, is he was like, "Look, I should be playing in this team."
Do you know
why
what?
aren't you playing?
Klopp loved as well, like the way he won that he chased that ball for the goal. Yeah. That goal is all him.
That's right.
Klopp made up a new phrase there. It was the counter press for the gegenpress.
When the goal starts. Right.
What does that mean?
When you watch the first thing of the goal in real time, it's like, what happened there? That's amazing. Then they showed a slow down from a reverse angle, and it was like a pinball wizard goal.
Yeah,
it was like it was an over.
Did you hear Klopp? That was a counter press to the gegenpress. I just thought, shut up, you knob. He tried to say this was amazing. He was done by Solanke. He wasn't. The ball was just bouncing off geezers.
Is this your anti-Klopp stance coming out?
It is.
That's a bullshit term.
It's not bullshit term. It's a
If
German
Roger
term.
said that, the place would have fell apart.
Do you know what I love about Solanke? The way he gets opposition players turned and gets fouled all the time and buys time like that. Like I said before, he's 19. He's a 28-year-old.
His body movement, his runs and all. He just knows. He just looks the real deal.
Yeah.
That was the one thing that stuck out when we went to the Bilbao game is movement, and he's got this we said it, didn't he? He always finds himself in the right position in the centre of the box. You were moaning about Andy Carroll always either going to one of the posts or hung up at the back post and defenders were winning.
He's making a nuisance of
He's
himself for
always
somebody
in the
else.
right spot.
Am I right when I said he made a big challenge in the box as well, didn't he?
Did he?
He did.
Yeah.
He did in his own half.
Yeah.
Clear the ball at the edge of his box.
Yeah, the rear box as well.
Listen, it's great to see a young player come through, and that's all you want to see.
He
No,
we don't know how much.
But Neil, there's one thing about buying a young player who everyone expects to be in the under-23s, to do what he did in pre-season, to put himself into first team recognition. It's like genuinely, it's great to see it because hopefully we have a talent come through. It could go Origi's way, it may go in Gog's way, or whatever.
I don't think it does.
No, but I'm just saying. We've all been here before. It's the same with Robertson. We've all been here with young players. We've all been here thinking this is the next good player that's coming through, and then it doesn't turn out. But do you know what? The main thing is, it seems that he does have something about him, and every time he appears on the pitch, something is happening around him, and that's huge.
Him and Trent seem to have that thing where they don't give a shit.
Yeah. And that's when you know Grujic has that. Grujic has that. He backs himself.
Yeah, exactly. Where Origi, you could see sometimes him being bullied out of games, but Solanke's kind of like...
He seems such a confident player, Origi, and it looks like he kind of knows... He's acting like a player who knows that he's falling down the pecking order. Yeah. Whereas Solanke, you can see his shoulders are back.
Yeah, exactly.
He just wants the ball.
He's really Solanke because he's only come in and he's making a name for himself. Origi knows that this is do or die for him this season.
It's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Exactly. He just got named player of the tournament at the World Cup, didn't he?
Solanke did, yeah. No, but Origi has lost his confidence since the whole of last season. I can't remember the last time I saw him play.
He's a very streaky player, though, isn't he?
Yeah. We can get on to it because we're going to talk about the half and home game. Anyway, just this is on scope here. And now there's been a few technical issues and the whole lot. We are working towards trying to sort out the internet and all that type of stuff. But we will be back on. Skillzone.ie advertisement. We'll do a little bit on it as well. The guys Monday Club. It is the host of the 2017 The World Games, when Andy Young proves once and for all he is the greatest at single events.
Whoa! Did you not hear what was revealed on Twitter today?
No.
He's been and lost.
He's been and lost.
He's lost. He's 0-1. He's
0-1.
He's someone's
the hot favourite. The hot favourite.
He got the down up count, has he not?
If anyone doesn't know what Skillzone is, they should definitely get onto the website. It's like basically it's not events. What do I say?
It's a zone where the skills play.
No, it's like it's a skill. Each sort of section of sports.
10 sports, I think.
10 sports.
I'd go out and I'd say it's the best fun you can have with your clothes on.
It is, yeah. That's not bad going because it's crack as well. Yeah. And they now have a swimming pool in the place. And we'll see if we can get them. Maybe you can swim with sharks or something as one of the skills. But in fairness, you've got there's pitching and there's kicking a rugby ball and there's 12 sports. It's in the ad, and when I do the ad properly on the pod, you'll see what it is. And I'll tell you what, if anyone's coming over for a stag's party, do you know what that would be? It would be a brilliant one for a stag's party, and there's plenty of decent pubs up around the place as well. You're not too far from the goat when you're up in Skillzone as well, and you're not so near to step in, and there's a lot of things. So anyone up there wants to throw a few.
Just had an idea for the business.
Did you?
We could just do. We could like stag talk.
This is live.
Oh, sorry.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll talk about this
Remember
after
Bob
the
Geldof?
No, business it is. We morph into. Anyway, listen. Again, thanks to everyone for tuning in tonight. Apologies for all the technical issues. Get onto Skillzone, especially if you're coming over to have a bit of crack in Dublin for a hens or a stag's party. And then it's over. It's over there.
I always wanted to do
the magic of technology.
There, Johnny, stick your finger up in the air.
Oh, is that way?
That's it. You're touching the sign. It's impressive. It's impressive. There.
This is Skillzone.
Skillzone. Seani's touching the Skillzone. Anyway, we'll probably
also later. Take the alternatively abled, by the way.
What?
Alternatively abled.
Yeah.
There's room.
Yeah.
You don't just have to be like fully.
Yeah. Anyway, to everyone that's watching tonight, thanks again. We'll see you next week on the Periscope. I think Stephen All's on during the week, and we'll the pod.
Stephen All.
Yeah. Stephen All and Stephen Ish will be along. So we've got ex-players and all on during the week. All right, so there'll be more stuff on the Periscope during the week.
You're on shit Thursday as well, isn't it?
You're trash.
You're trashing.